Hey yo, it's time to roar, get loud, let's ignite. Jeremy B in the house, we keeping it tight. Every weekday at 11, we ready to ride. Lions Talk Live, come and join the pride. Waking up early, it's that morning grind. Tune in to the show, leave the troubles behind. Jeremy B's the king, with the voice like thunder. Every word he spits, it's a lyrical wonder. Got the lions around, sharp and fierce. When we hear one pride, you can't help but feel your heart pierce. Talking all the topics, keep it real, keep it raw. With a lion's mentality, we're ready for the roar. One pride, it feels right. Jeremy B bringing the heat, morning light. Every weekday at 11 we taking flight. Lions Talk Alive, yeah, we ready to bite. One pride, hear us loud. Jeremy's in the zone, making us proud.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good afternoon, it is Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Day. I guess ever since they let Glasgow take over at center, he's been impressing the coaches. I heard from Johnny Morton. I heard from Dan Campbell in their pressers. And lo and behold, it looks like he's going to stick there for now. Still a competition, they said, but he's leading the way. You have the current depth chart that they made out so far. Megan Hacker, good to see you. She will be on the NFL Roundtable Talk with her hubby. I am doing fantastic. That's what I'm doing. Because you know what? I get to talk about a couple newsworthy items. And Smokin' Dad is in the building. I'm glad I figured out the music. Because everybody loves that song for some reason. Megan will get to be a guest with her hubby tonight for the first time on NFL Roundtable Talk, just like she was last Friday on the NFL Fan Cave Chat. And is it August 24th? We're doing our live for the fantasy draft that night for our league. Keegan! Holy crap, you do exist! You're not just a name I see pop up in the chat every now and then on Facebook. And she said, yes, that is confirmed. Good. But we did get some disturbing news about 18 hours ago. It was confirmed that Terrion left practice early with a hamstring strain. No word on when he will return, but it's likely to be before the season. So that's good with a second-year guy that's developing and looking like he became. Yeah, he came up lame after covering Sam Laporta. I don't like people that just go out and throw it out live when it happens. I believe it's either 7 or 8 p.m., Dad. I will double check here in a minute. But, you know, Glasgow at center, I think that's a good thing. He is a vet. It's looking like it's working out a little bit better than it did with Tate Ratledge. But Campbell did say Tate Ratledge didn't do anything wrong and didn't get worse while he took snaps there. So it sounds like it's still anyone's position. But for now, it's that. And yes, it'll be on NBC and Peacock. Tonight the show is 9 p.m., just like it was for the Lions Fan Cave Chat. So around baby's bedtime, it may work out for you. It is 8. Okay, I knew it was 7 or 8. I think 7 is the pregame and 8 o'clock is the game or 8:25 kickoff. Because you know they got to do their little Hall of Fame introductions from the Hall of Fame class this year and who's being voted in for next year. That's how it all goes. So there's a little bit of hoopla at the beginning. She's like, "Yes, please." So I do know one piece of news we're covering. Um, a young corner for the Browns suffered an Achilles tear. He's out for the season. So that's one bit of news. Yes, sir. No temperatures, no nothing. Straight football. That's what I like. 100%. Because you know what? The weather doesn't matter if they're in a dome. And there's what? Yep, and likely has a fractured foot out for the season. I feel bad for Mike who drafted him. Look out for the Big Four. That's what we used to be called back in the day. Yes, because we were part of the Big Four that started the whole damn thing. And then it was called the original six, just like in hockey, and then it kept expanding. But the Big Four, there was one that couldn't win back then. They started their team in 1896 in the city of Chicago. It was the Cardinals who became the Bears later on. So let's keep it real. Um, they can have a suspension that'll start as soon as he's signed. Yes, they can, uh, because he's trying to get in. We did sign a running back yesterday. It's official because of the tight end that we got rid of. I think it was Luke Deal. We signed Jacob Sailors, which was the UFL running back of the year. So it looks like Tawatua is not making the team, even though he's the size of a fullback, and I think it'd have been a perfect fit. Sailors is a capable guy. We'll get into the judgings and all that stuff later. Austin, nice to get to show up. Late as usual. Your wife was early. Just kidding. Austin just celebrated a birthday yesterday, everybody. So say happy birthday to him. He got some really cool chopsticks from his wife. They look like lightsabers. I wonder if that was intentional. Getting out my birthday. I think Hooker's going to be the second half. Right now, he's third on the depth chart. He is behind Kyle Allen, who has done nothing to get any better or any worse, according to coaches. But I've heard Hooker has had a great offseason so far. He goes, "Thank you. Yes, lightsaber chopstick." May the Schwartz be with you, as Yogurt would say. Oh, that's great. Bill Barnwell is looking for something to report. He just asked how many first round picks would it take to trade for Hutcher's Sewell? Probably at least five or six. Amen. That's all I want to see is I want to see who the guys we want to see do well. Tate Ratledge is not playing. Neither is Talik Williams. Because those guys are both slated to be starters, which is something I said prior to any of this preseason. We might not get to see either one. Miles Frazier is on the pup list, dealing with an injury to mid to late September, so we won't see him till weeks 3 or 4, more than likely, at the earliest week 2. Taylor Decker's on the pup list, dealing with the clean out surgery from the scar tissue in his shoulder from the injury that he had surgery years ago, so he won't be back till week 1 or 2. Josh Pascal has got a lingering leg injury. He won't be back till the end of September. Malcolm Rodriguez has a lingering injury. I don't think so, because we still got Ben Neiman, we still got Anthony Pittman, we got JRM who play outside when they're not playing special teams. So I think we'll be fine there. Plus Derek Barnes is back healthy because all it was a minor hand injury. He only missed like a half a practice, so he's back out there playing and he plays on the outside now. We'll have Jack and Anzalone in the middle, and everybody else will be platooning out there. Even El Kadim Muhammad took occasional snaps at outside linebacker. Rashad Walker, the usual suspect. Yes, sir. And I'm not even trying to be rude about it. You know what? I know people are going to talk shit about our our team, especially from the NFC North, and it's fine. You know why? Because we deserve it. We don't have a Super Bowl trophy in our case any more than the Vikings do. So, you know, let's be real. Our fans look the same. There's Lions fans, with our foreclosure notices and Flint water, where the water's shit and the tires are good. And here's your TJ Hawkinson once he retires, sports ball rules, empty trophy case. So I give it back as good as I get it. Without talking shit to your face. You know what? Personal attacks don't matter. It's about having fun. Enjoy what you do. Hey, at least I admit it, right? I admit it. We've got championship trophies in our case, though. 4 of them. And my dad, who's watching this show, was alive for 2 of them. 3 of them. He only remembers the one for sure. There he is. It's Pat. Good to see you, brother. Yes, the usual subjects are in the house. Glasgow is taking reps at center. Tate Ratledge at right guard. Tate Ratledge. Then most of the starting offensive line won't play except maybe Dan Skipper because he needs help. He's getting beat like a redheaded stepchild at left tackle by everybody and their brother. Even the UDFAs that we'd ever heard of are beating him right now. He looks awful. Mahogany looks good. Ratledge at right guard made Talik Williams look so bad he walked off the field dejected yesterday. I hope he does it again today. They said the offseason of Talik Williams not being able to work out due to his injury suffered in the national championship game. He said that has led to him losing a little bit of strength from not being able to work out as much in his lower body. And we all know lower body leverage is what makes the difference in the trenches. He still has his hand pop and all that. So he's got to develop. So hit the sled, young man. Hit the sled. There you go. Get him, Megan. Aren't you supposed to be working? I love it. I love the friendly banter between them two. It's cute. I remember when I was young and in love. Be interesting to see who Jimmy plays tonight for the Chargers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see you. We know who it won't be because he's got an eye out for him. That's Najee Harris. Broski Bear, you do exist. I thought you stopped. Yeah, it's tomorrow night at 8. The Hall of Fame game. Thursday night at 8. The legend of JB continues. Yes, I keep going. Ooh, we even got a love in the... Oh, Dave Eastman says it. Gave the love at Facebook. Thank you, brother. That being said, let's get into the other thing I want to do now, because I do actually have it. Here is the Lions depth chart. The first one that they put out. So I'm going to blow this up and not pay attention to the comments for a minute while I read this. As you can see, our outside wide receivers are Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Taylor Decker is slated to come in, but he's on the PUP list. Dan Skipper is slid up. Christian Mahogany, at center, Graham Glasgow. At right guard, rookie Tate Ratledge. Then Panay Sewell and Sam Laporta. Our slot receivers are Tim Patrick, Isaac Tesla, and Jackson Meeks. On the outside, the backups to Jamison Williams is Khalif Raymond, Ronnie Bell, and Jacoby Keeney James. On the opposite side, it's TK85, the camp cockroach that will not die, and Dominique Lovett. I've heard great things about Dominique Lovett. He's been performing very well right now. Miles Frazier is also on the injured list. You see any of those that are italicized, they are injured right now. So let's not. I'll be watching left tackle position. Lord knows we don't have very much. Yeah, I know. It's Skipper, Sorsdahl, and then whoever else is on the UDFA squad. Let's get the food, JB 100. Yes. So we got Skipper and Manu at left tackle for backup. We got Nitain Mutai and Michael Neese, and then injured Miles Frazier at left guard. And the guy that has impressed everybody right here in the middle is Kingsley Egdekun as the second string center. It's looking like he's going to make the active roster, something I predicted prior to the season too. Tristan Colon, whoever that is, it probably ends up a long snapper at best. Panay Sewell, behind him is Jamarco Jones, who's a vet that has some, and then we have the rookie UDFA Mason Miller. I'm hoping that Mason Miller takes Jamarco Jones' spot because he hasn't been much his entire career. Back to whatever. Underlined rookie player, italics indicate PUP and NFI. Behind Tim Patrick, we have two rookies, Isaac Tesla and Jackson Meeks. Jackson Meeks, don't forget, is Zadarius Smith's nephew. Then we have the QBs, Jared Goff. Look at that. Look who moved to the 2 spot. He actually might be starting this tomorrow night. Hendon Hooker, then Kyle Allen. This is the updated depth chart. It's unofficial, but it is compiled by Lions Football Communications. Running backs, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Craig Reynolds, Sione Vaki, Kai Robichaud, Jabari Small, and Jacob Sailors. As you can see, as I said, Hawatua is not on the list. At edge, we got Aiden Hutchinson, Mitchell Agude. Oh, we got somebody popping in. Let me go see who we got. Probably the Broski Bear, I'm thinking. Hey, Broski.
JB, how you doing?
Fantastic. Going over this depth chart real quick.
All right, man. Let's go through it.
Yep. I'm on the defense now. I already went over the whole offense. As you can see, that Tawatua from the UFL didn't make it through his tryouts, so we signed Jacob Sailors, the UFL running back of the year last year, who played for the Defenders, the ones that actually won the championship. So I think that's a good signing. He had almost 1,000 yards in his 10 games, and he also had 9 touchdowns. He tied with Bryce Perkins, the Michigan Panthers quarterback that had 9 touchdowns rushing.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yep. So here we are at the edge. I was talking about behind Aiden Hutchinson because we're going into the preseason roster, basically. I'm going over that with people. Mitchell Agude, El-Kadim Muhammad, and Nate Lynn on that side. At the other edge is Marcus Davenport. So you can see he's slated to be a starter. We won't see him play. Guess what? We won't see Josh Pascal because that italicized means injured. So it's Ahmad Hazanin and Isaac Ukwu. Looks like Broderick Martin's back, and I've heard great things, but look how far back he's buried on this defensive tackle list. Lee McNeil is injured.
Yeah.
And AJ not playing. They already announced that Talik Williams is not playing because of McNeil's injury. He's our starter. Mekhi Wingo's injured. So that means he's not playing, right? So that means in this room, we're going to see Roy Lopez and either Pat O'Connor, Miles O'Brien, Keith Cooper Jr., who's one of the UDFAs we picked up, Chris Smith, the defensive tackle from last year out of Notre Dame that was a UDFA with us, Raekwon Williams, or Broderick Martin. So
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about a couple of those guys, but you already answered it. Like Pascal and Wingo are out still.
Yeah.
Any timeline on their injuries?
Mid to late September on both of them. Taylor Becker is supposed to be back at the beginning. I will, Megan.
Oh.
Yeah, I see your message there because that's why I did it this way, so I can actually see the chat without it being covered up by somebody's picture. So that's great. So now let's get to the linebacker. Our main starters are Jack and Alex, so you won't see them. So we're going to see a steady diet of Derek Barnes, Grant Stewart, Zach Cunningham, Anthony Pittman, Ezekiel Turner, Trevor Nowaski, and Deron Gilbert. That's what you're going to see in these preseason games. Those guys are all competing for that outside linebacker starting spot as a 4-3 defense, or to at least be able to be rotated into the edge room when necessary. And I think the ones out of all these here that has the leg up on everyone in the back end here is Trevor Nowaski and Anthony Pittman, because both of them have been with the team for multiple seasons. At the nickel, it's Amik Robertson, who's injured. He should be back by week 1. That just happened after they released the step chart. That's why it's not italicized yet. So we don't know how long that'll be. And behind him is the safety Avonte Maddox. They planned on using him more at nickel. Terrion Arnold came up lame with a mild hammy strain. We have no timeline on his return, but I doubt it'll be through the whole preseason. And his Rakenstraw is also dealing with something. He is not listed as out for the season. So you're looking at, well, not Khalil Dorsey because he's injured, right? So it's Rock Ya-Sin, DiCaprio Boodle, and Nick Whiteside, and Tyson Russell, and Eric Hallett. Those 3. With those 2 make up our 5. We don't have any backups right now, so we're going to keep signing people for the preseason. That's what I see. Is that what you see there,
okay. Yeah, man, that's the first time I'm hearing about Rakestraw having an injury issue. I thought that maybe the first couple preseason games would be a good chance for him to play and kind of, put a few Lions fans' minds at ease about drafting him. But yeah, it seems like there's a lot of injuries, man. Like not to a lot of the key starters, but like to a lot of it seems like a decent amount though.
It is, but nobody's going to the IR yet. That's the good thing that I've heard. They've all been minor injuries. They just didn't give a timeline to return yet. So yeah, I'm okay with those type of injuries because those happen to teams all throughout the preseason and in the regular season, where they say, oh, he's got a lower leg injury, and they don't go into detail, and then a week later they're back, or 2 weeks later, and nobody misses anything. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. We hear about it all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is very true. And it seems to be more prevalent the last few years. With the lack of full blown like workouts and stuff. Like it's like 2 days of padded practice, then you have to have a day in shorts and shoulder pads, and then you know what I mean. You can only practice for 90 minutes and all this stuff. So it definitely has an impact on these little nagging injuries.
Brian Branch gave a glowing review about Jameson Williams the other day. Did you see that in the news?
Well, I saw Jameson Williams break Rocky Sin's ankles on that little touchdown cut thing he did. Yeah.
Well, Brian Branch actually told the fans at the media day, he goes, watch out for JMO and get your popcorn ready because Morton's using them. So that's good that we got somebody that's going to utilize what we wanted to see out of Jameson Williams all along.
Yeah, and part of it too, I think, he had to get to the point where he could also do that. So Maybe this is his like big breakout season. Like he had a solid year last year, but maybe he really
He had the season.
takes it to another level this year.
Remember at the beginning of the year when you first started commenting on my show and you asked me specifically about Jameson Williams? He pretty much had my stat line that I predicted for him that I said I needed at least to be respectable.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I said,
they really, if I remember correctly, you said he has to have 1,000 yards, and he had 1,000 yards.
right. But I said anything over 700. I said I want to give a realistic expectation because of all the time he missed and his maturity issues from the previous 2 seasons. I said I want to see 750 plus yards. I want to see 45 plus catches and 5 plus touchdowns. He hit every one of those numbers by week 12. So
Well,
I was ecstatic. I was ecstatic with that. You know what I mean? I said I wanted to see that for the entire season
Yeah.
or better.
And I think the thing with him is too, like, Randall L's not there anymore. He's kind of like his mentor, like his big brother kind of thing. If the Lions do hit a rough patch during the season, how he handles that, maybe he goes a game or two where he doesn't get the ball nearly as much as he should, and the Lions lose, and so that'll be another test for him, I think.
Well, Dan Jackson is looking like he's the guy that has earned the starting spot behind Brian Branch, our 6th-round pick. Maurice Norris, I actually am surprised they have him there right behind Kirby Joseph. Even though he's got experience with the team, he's been pulled off the field twice by Dan Campbell for not tackling. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see either Lauren Strickland or Ian Kennelly start opposite Dan Jackson. Just going by what I've been hearing out of camp.
Yeah. Like 2 of the things I was going to ask about the Lions are, one was regarding like the linebacker spot. So how to kind of set that up for the future.
Yep.
I do feel there's a chance that maybe they do let Anzalone walk after the season, especially since, they have, was it Branch and that Rodriguez, who I know he's hurt, but they have both of those guys under contract next year, correct? So, I don't really foresee Anzalone being on the team after the season. You never know. So my thing was like, hey, how are they going to kind of set up that replacement at linebacker? Are they satisfied with Branch and Rodriguez, or are they going to try to maybe bring someone else in? And then this one's kind of like a little bit different, but it seems like Craig Reynolds, correct me if I'm wrong, he's been like the 3rd running back for a couple seasons now, right? And he's also like the kick returner, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Right, but that's what they drafted Dominique Lovett for, to be either a replacement because Khalif Freeman's into his last year and Reynolds is in his last year. So I think that's why they drafted him to replace one or both, because he's been taking a lot of the preseason returns. But,
and that's what I was going to say. I feel like they're going to try to honestly possibly this season, if not definitely for next season. Like they're going to get like that 3rd running back / return situation. Like they're going to probably have a new guy in the mix for that.
In this room here, out of all these guys here, the things that I've heard a lot about is DiCaprio Boodle and Eric Hallett. Both of them have been doing a lot of the gunner duties, as well as Jacoby Keeney James. Those guys have been most of the gunners on punting and kick return. So, and I've heard good things about it. So I think we're going to be okay in that department with as far as stopping punt and kick return. But Ian Kennelly has actually had the first interception of the season since training camp started, and it was off of Jared Goff because he was starting when Kirby had a tweak of the knee. He's supposed to be back Sunday. But our kicker situation, that hasn't changed. We got our kicker and punter, Jake Bates and Fox, and they noticed they started switching. Yep. If they wanted to boot it out the back of the end zone, Jake Bates did it. You remember that when we were watching it and you were like, wow, Bates is kicking off. Because Jack Fox had been until we got him.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. No, they're definitely solid with the kicking game. One guy I'm like kind of looking out for the preseason for the Lions is Vaki, to see if he actually gets like meaningful time at running back, to see if they're considering him possibly as like a third running back. Like maybe he works his way into some action this year. Not sure, but I think they did draft him with a little more hope than he would just be special teams. Like maybe he would be the third running back.
Well, he did come out and he did play, but it was usually he was on the active roster as the fourth running back last year. So what actually happened was when we had somebody go out injured or they weren't using somebody the rest of the game, Baki did come in and take some snaps. He had a better yards per carry than Craig Reynolds last year on limited snaps. So that tells you his athletic ability at running back. And he actually did return a few and did a lot of gunner work. So he's another one that's added to that special teams room.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I think the goal for him is like, maybe, he will assume like that third running back spot, possibly this season. So
And I think the guy that ends up in that fourth spot, because let's say at the cut deadline, because there's no cap hit to hurt the Lions, they do get rid of Reynolds. I think the guy that might make it as the fourth is that Jacob Sailors, because he's that big, powerful, fast running back, just like all the ones in front of him. He's like in between Gibbs and Monty inside. You know what I'm saying?
okay,
Where Monty's a little slot, but Gibbs is a little more slender but speedy, but still has more power than people give him credit for. He's like in between them.
Yeah, I think Gibbs is listed at like 200 pounds, and Monty's like what, like 220 or something like that.
Yeah, Monty's 220 and 6'1", and Gibbs is like I think 6'6.5" and he was listed at 200, but they said he came in 10 pounds heavier this year. So that's going to help his power too without hindering his speed, because 10 pounds is that happy spot when you're gaining weight.
Yeah, man.
You don't.
Yeah, no, that's a good size for an all around like NFL running back. I feel like 5'11", 6 foot, like 210. Because that means you probably can do a little bit of everything, and that's what Gibbs seems like he can be. I've always been high on Gibbs. I loved him coming out in the draft. I was one of the few people who did not think the Lions reached for him in the draft, and honestly, I don't. The only running back I could say that's more talented than Gibbs in the NFL right now is Saquon. I don't think I would take any other running back over Gibbs than Saquon, assuming he's healthy.
I might push back a little bit and say Derrick Henry too, but he's at the longer end of his career now and not doing quite as much as he
yeah.
Talent-wise, I'd say he was more talented than Gibbs too.
Yeah. Looking forward, you'd probably take Gibbs, but just for like this season or whatever. But yeah, Gibbs, like I said, like I feel like I'm a bigger fan of him than most non-Lions fans.
Well, I was one of those few on draft day that loved it. They were like, "Oh man, we traded back. We should have grabbed this guy. We should have grabbed that guy." Kept hearing we should have grabbed Jalen Carter. We should have grabbed Patrick Johnson the second that went to or Bijan Robinson. Guess what? Every year, Jahmyr Gibbs has had more yards, more touchdowns, and more receptions than Bijan Robinson. So tell me where Brad Holmes went wrong.
Oh no, I totally agree. Bijan Robinson, talented running back, but I think Gibbs is more talented. I think they need to. I really do, man. And I've been saying this, and surprisingly, most other Lions podcasters don't agree with me. I really think they need to feed Gibbs a lot more this year. Like I just think he's so much more talented than Montgomery, and I'm not trying to. It's not a slight towards Montgomery. It's just like you have a true elite running back right here. Like he wasn't overused in college, not even close. He hasn't been overused so far in the NFL. Start feeding this guy,
But I think that's what they don't want to do. They want him to have that long career so he can get.
I don't know, man. This might be the year to do it, though. But we'll see, man. Personnel wise, the Lions offense, skill position players is still top tier. We'll see how that O line holds up this year.
So this will be the first year that I'm actually going to do a fantasy football show with one of my co-hosts on the Lions Fan Cave Chat, Austin Hacker. Him and I are in a fantasy league together, and it's a keeper league. So we're going to start doing a fantasy football show on Saturday evening.
Cool, man.
Just One more show to add to the repertoire.
Yeah, man, why not? That's yeah. I actually, it's funny. I stopped playing fantasy football like a handful of years ago. I used to play. I was probably in like three leagues a season. I try to limit it so I could really focus on it. And I don't know, man. I just lost interest in fantasy. I do bet games. Like that's the thing. That's my thing. Is betting games. So
I love parlays with anytime touchdowns. And if you screw my parlay and you're the only one that did on a big parlay where I was trying to maximize profit potential with a boost, guess what? You're not on my fantasy team next year. That combination is Trevor Lawrence and Tank Bigsby in the London game versus the Bears.
oh oh
He was standing at the 1 yard line wide open. Trevor Lawrence looks at him and throws into double coverage to get picked to Trevor at the end.
yeah. This is going to be a telltale year for like Trevor Lawrence. I feel, man. Like I do feel he has the talent, but hey, how many guys have we seen with the talent? He just can't put it together. So this is going to be a very big season for him.
You see what I'm doing? It's that. The gray matter, the stuff between the ears. I don't think he has the acumen to be the clutch quarterback everybody thinks.
Dude, it's such a difficult position, and you really like more than any other position. You have to just be a good quarterback. You don't need to be a freak athlete. You don't need to be, like I said, like some physical specimen. You really just need to be a good quarterback, and a big part of that is like what you said, what's between the ears.
Yep. And I think after his rookie season and that great run by Clemson, and then never getting back, messed with his confidence.
Yeah, it could have. It's tough to argue at this point.
Because he hasn't been the same quarterback. And if it wasn't for
Nope.
them having an ex-Lions kicker that year when they played the Chargers, they wouldn't have beat the Chargers.
Yeah, we'll see if his new Duval coach can get anything can get it out of him, and then get him to step his game up.
Well, look at who they had. They had Frank Wright, a guy that's great with quarterbacks and couldn't fix them. I'm just not. I don't see it.
Yeah.
So Liam Cohen, I give you all the luck in the world on coaching Sunshine Jones,
AKA Pretty T.
right? Yeah, the reason why I say Sunshine Jones is just go put their stats up side by side, and you'd swear they're twins. Just cover the picture. Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones.
Dude, that Easter Island photo of with the blonde wig on, that's funny because that actually does look like him.
It does, don't it?
Yeah, that's a good one.
And Will Vogel looks like Daniel Jones of the Buck Ten.
Oh, jeez. Shout out Bill Vogel. Man, yeah, he's probably getting pumped about his Panthers right now.
I think he should be. I think they're going to be better than they have been over the last couple of years, and they're in a division that is winnable.
I'll say this, not to go off on a Panthers rant too much, but like, yeah, I mean, I definitely think the Bucks are winning that division. I think they're head and shoulders above the other teams, and honestly, I would actually put the Falcons second in that division because I really think Penix is going to be a stud. And I think they really addressed their defense, especially their pass rush, this offseason. The Panthers, the one good thing they did was they invested in their O-line. They have a very good O-line. They have Chuba. Now they have that Dodal guy from the Cowboys, and they drafted ETN. So they should be able to run, and they have some height and some playmakers at wide receiver now. They actually have a pretty good wide receiver room, surprisingly. So offensively, they could be all right. Defensively, like honestly, they might have the worst defense in the league. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm not joking. They really might have the worst defense in the entire league.
Right? That's true.
But yeah, man, should be interesting. I think the speaking of betting, I put a little something on Baker Mayfield. I've been talking about it, but like his MVP odds are like plus 3,300 to win the MVP, and I'm like, if you look at his numbers last year, I mean, those were MVP numbers. Let's say Tampa actually wins a playoff game or two this year. You never know, man. He puts up the same number line. I mean, they have Buka now. Like,
Look at
you
this.
know what I mean?
Motown Mitch giving you a shout out.
Hey, shout out Mitch, man. I'll tell you what, man. It's Mitch is a good fan though. You know, like it's good when he jumps on. He's jumped on a couple times. Yeah, man, it's good, man. I like mixing it up and chopping it up with different fan bases, and you know, it's a good time, man.
And what I like is that we're able to sit here and not sit here and bash each other's teams and actually talk football.
No, man, I like the analytical aspect of football and all that stuff. Like, I'll talk any team and break it down, and really
So,
just give you like my unbiased thoughts. I really enjoy doing it.
in case anybody missed it, don't draft Isaiah Likely this year to start your year in fantasy because he broke his foot and may not be back till late November, early December.
Yeah, Keegan, I hear you, but really in the NFC, like most of the, yeah, I mean, there are like you got the Josh Allens of the world, Lamar Jackson. I get it. I'm
Yeah,
just
Josh
saying, like if you just took their numbers in a vacuum from last year and lined them all up, man, like Baker's numbers are just as good. And you know what? Like, let's
Baker
say
falls
the Bills.
I think Baker falls into 7th place overall when you add it all up and you match it. I think he falls somewhere between 7th and 8th
I
overall.
mean, he had like 41 touchdown passes. He had 70% completion. He had 4,600 yards. Like, like my thing is, I think his team just needs to have a nice, pretty record during the regular season and win a playoff game. And Baltimore and Buffalo aren't really known for excelling in the playoffs. And if they take a little step back in the regular season, you never know. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is plus 3,300 yards. It's worth putting a couple bucks on, I think.
Yep. This thing like golf right now, his is plus 3,000 or 3,500. You can throw that on there. I think he's getting that in spades because Morton is a passing app.
Yeah, why not?
And look at all the mouths he has to feed. There's no reason why he shouldn't get at least 3,000 to 3,500 yards. If you just go off the top 4 on the depth chart, Jameson Williams, Amon Ra, Tim Patrick, and Isaac Tesla in no particular order. That's how I named them. Those 4 alone. Then you throw in Sam Laporta and what Gibbs does in the receiving game.
Yeah.
And he receives too. And when Vaki comes in to suppress any of them when they need a break, there's another receiving target. That's 8 targets right there, and we haven't even got up to backup tight ends yet.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like, all goes well. Like, there's no reason why he shouldn't have, like, between 4,500 and, like, 4,900 yards passing. But, like I said, it's going to come down to that O-line.
It's looking
see how they do, man.
I think Glasgow took the center as the bet. So, I think it's going to be fine because Glasgow does have experience there. And he did well last year when Rags was out. It wasn't like the year before when we had Evan Brown in there, the guy that went to Seattle and got injured.
Yeah.
That year was awful when Rags was out. Remember, he was out like 7 games and we lost 6 of the 7. So Glasgow being in there, I think, is a bigger difference than people give it credit for.
We will soon see, my man. We will soon see. I'll tell you what.
But I don't think it's going to be a top 5 O-line. I think it's going to be in the top 15. I just don't expect top 5 anymore. I'm just being realistic.
And I know, like, the NFC North in general has a tough schedule. Every team, but I do think the Lions have the toughest schedule in the league this year. And I'm looking at like the lineup of those defenses, and I'm like, dude, to start the season, to end the season, I mean, every single team, like I don't know
And
if you have the Lions schedule handy to put up, but it's just like all these teams have stacked defenses. Like even the Browns, like week 4, it's like, dude, they have a nasty defensive line. And if that interior O line for the Lions isn't ready yet, man, that game could be a battle. You know what I mean? You never know. Like,
I think it's
um,
more ready than people think. That's all I'm saying is what I'm hearing out of camp. And all I can go by is
all
out of
right.
camp. I haven't heard or seen it in play. I'm going by what the coaches are saying and what the players are saying and what everything else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're
that's
always going to be happy
all.
about shit though, but yeah.
No, because year one, Dan Campbell came right out. This O line's bad. All we got is Sewell and Ragnow, and because Decker was hurt year one, remember? He goes, "This O line's bad." He just came out and said it because he had to figure out
No, I
where to
hear you,
put.
man. I
He had
hear
to
you.
figure out
And those
Bobby.
and JB, those first 3 games right out the gate are going to say a lot. At Green Bay, home against the Bears, and at Baltimore.
I expect at least one loss, and I'll tell you which one I expect it, and that's Baltimore automatically. I think Green Bay and Chicago is a toss-up. It really depends on how it goes. And with it being the
Yeah.
first 2 weeks of the season, guess what? That's basically an extended preseason for the starters. Nobody's consistent on offense or defense at that time.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, man. Usually, like the first 4 games, it's fugly for every team's offense anymore.
Usually, you could tell the cream of the crop by week 3. You could see which ones are the top level offenses because all of a sudden they start holding steady, scoring about the same amount of points. That's what I was getting at. Your good
Okay.
offenses and your good defenses. That's when they start to show up. It takes them 2 weeks to get into shape in the regular season. We see it all the time.
Yeah, but I think so. I see Mitch's comment, but the fact is, like, okay, so the NFC North plays the NFC East and the AFC North. But then the Lions specifically play at Kansas City, at the Rams, and home against the Bucks. So that's why I'm saying I really think they have the toughest schedule.
I really don't think it's that bad because if you go look at the strength of schedule, you know from top to bottom that the separation is less than 3% on the strength of schedule rating.
I do Broski's strength of schedule. I mean, I don't buy these like they'll say the Giants have the toughest schedule. I'm like, dude, like all I'm saying is I think the Steelers are might have the best defense on paper in the entire league. I think their O line is going to be much improved. Who knows what they have at quarterback? We'll see. But that game is going to be tough for whoever plays them. The Bengals aren't going to be an easy team for whoever plays them. The
Oh, well,
Browns, okay, they don't know who their quarterback is, but they might have a top 3 defense this year.
right.
Um,
Here's what I'll say about the Bengals. You know they're going to have a top 5 offense, but they're going to have a
yeah,
bottom 5 defense. There is no in between with them. They're horrible
yeah,
on defense, but they're great on offense. So if you can stop them from scoring 30 points, you can beat them.
true. I mean, and playing it since he probably, that's I would like to think that works in there and in the Bengals' favor a little more. But hey, the Eagles, the Commanders. I mean, the Cowboys. Like, I don't expect them to be like a playoff team. They don't have a bad roster overall. Like, they really don't. Like, they should
Play
have
in,
a pretty good defense too. So
the difference is they play in Detroit this year for the first
yeah,
time in 5 seasons. So I'm not worried about Dallas. I think that's going to hurt them more. Playing at New York Giants, I don't bother. I chalk Philly up as
yeah. But the only like I'm saying, though, the Giants. The one thing you can say about them is they have a good defense on paper, and especially their D line. And if that line's O line, I have
Hey,
to see it
you're talking,
improve it.
wait, you're talking about 12 weeks into the season. What happens usually if you got a good old line coach by 12 weeks?
I mean, Glasgow is not getting any younger, and neither is Decker. You know what I mean? Like
I'm
you got
worried
to see if those guys can hold up.
not worried about it. I know who our coach is. That's why I'm not as freaking out as everybody else. If we didn't have Hank
All
Fraley
right.
as our
Well,
coach still, I would be worried. But we do.
That's why they play the games, my man.
Amen. That is why we play the games. But I'm talking about stuff that we know has happened and that he's taken people and moved them around and it's worked every damn time. So I'm gonna go ahead and give Hank Fraley the nod because he's got the acumen. He's been here long enough.
What's your over under on how many games Davenport plays before he gets injured?
I actually haven't given a prediction because you know what? When he beat Sewell 2 days in a row, I I, I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
tell you. He looks the best he's done. And remember, it was an arm injury that took him out, not a lower leg injury, the usual one. And last year we had a top 5 hardest schedule and still went undefeated on the road with a second string defense. So we'll be all right. And that was with a bad off defensive coordinator. I don't care what anybody says. Aaron Glenn is not a great defensive coordinator. If we didn't have the talent we had on our team to stop teams from scoring in the red zone, guess what? We'd have been bad last year. We were 27th in passing, but third in rushing. Third in rushing is great, but 27th in passage yardage, that's god awful. But it's way better than 32nd, 31st, and 29th.
Personally, I never understood the Aaron Glenn hype. I really didn't think he was anything special as a defensive coordinator, but you know what Lions fans are all saying last year. Oh, he's great. It's just everyone's hurt, and that proves he's great because everyone's hurt, and the Lions are still, doing their thing on defense. So, I mean, I guess I'm kind of agreeing with you. I didn't really consider him to be a great defensive coordinator. But yeah, man, we'll see how it goes with the new guy.
Moton says, I'm not trying to say it's a dig either, but what's up with Ben Johnson looking like he aged 20 years in 7 short months?
I mean, I've watched his pressers. I mean, I don't. To me, it doesn't really look like he has, but I'm sure he will. I'm sure at some point I'll probably be like he does because he's a Bears coach, and
I'm going to defend this for a reason, but you're doing it a little too soon, Motown Mitch. I'd wait till year 2 at least. It's kind of like Matt Eberflus when he got here didn't have but a couple specks of gray in his beard, and he left all white.
Eberflush. Yeah, I mean, Ben Johnson's got a big job. Like, Ben Johnson has to change an entire franchise from the front office to the, you know what I mean, to the coaching, to the players. Like, he's got to like literally be the guy who changes it all. Like, it's not going to be Warren, it's not going to be Poles, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, and he's going to have to work with those guys to do it. So, my hope for the Bears is that their defense can hit the ground running week 1. Like, I hope their defense is actually legit from week 1. Their offense, man, it's going to take time. Like, having that bye week 5, I actually think is a blessing in disguise for them this year.
Yep, I just heard that Patrick Mahomes got hurt, is what Megan Hacker is reporting. Until they give a report that he's going to miss significant time, I don't worry about it. But I wait for the details. I try not to go into that whole clickbait. Our season is over.
Yeah. Well, there you go, man. Put some money on Baker MVP odds. There you go.
Eberflus. Now he's going to tear down the girls. I called him Everlose.
And I'll tell you what, JB, I got to say this. Like, I was never one of those Bear fans that thought Eberflus was even a good defensive coordinator. Like, he was okay, but like, he wasn't really that good. And people are like, oh, when he took over, their defense was so much better. They definitely were a little bit better. Like, I'm not going to say they weren't. But one thing that was consistent the whole year, and people say, oh, because Billings got hurt, blah, blah, blah. When Billings was in, yeah, they were a little better. But, dude, their defense got gashed up the middle for like 3 straight years on defense. Like, unacceptable. Like, having your cornerbacks give someone an 8-yard, 9-yard cushion when it's 3rd and 5, unacceptable. I'm sorry.
Yep, I agree. But Motown Mitch, yeah, Johnson is a much better coordinator. AG, however, I think players like playing under AG more. And I think it's shown because I think it was last off season. You brought it up, Brisky Bear, because I didn't see the report yet because I was paying attention to the news and not the opinion polls. that the players, 85% of the players in the league voted AG as the most likable defensive coordinator the season before. So I said, you watch. This is his last year as a coordinator. He'll be a head coach.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
for sure, man. Yeah,
players
the writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall last year, I think, for both of the coordinators, you know?
McCarty is ruled out of a pressing with a calf injury. Oh no, there goes the Viking season. Just ask Sarah.
Dude, and I'll keep saying this, and I was like the first person I heard say this months ago, like, or whenever they signed Sam Howell, I was like, why can't you make Sam Howell? Oh, McCaffrey. You said McCarthy. Learn how to spell.
Okay, McCaffrey. Thank you. I was ready to go make the Vikings cry.
Yeah, that would have been a good one. Next show.
Now we get to hear the Niners gang all go crying, because guess what? If McCaffrey if it's any length of time in the season, Purdy looks awful without McCaffrey on the field.
Well,
we saw this.
Well, McCaffrey is probably worth over $200 million at this point, and has a smoking hot wife. I mean, I'm not gonna, have a pity party for him.
I'm not gonna be a pity party for him. I'm talking about for the poor Niners fan base.
Yeah, the 49ers, I think they should have committed to a full rebuild, personally. I think they kind of got caught in the in-between thing by signing Purdy and Kittle and all that. Like, I honestly, I would have they had a really nice draft. They drafted some nice players. Like, I would have just been full rebuild. Let's do it.
So we're going to start at the bottom here today, Broski, and we're going to go right to your Bears. And no, I'm not doing fuck the Bears. I'm going to do what every Bears fan hope is happening there in the Vatican. Please,
here we go.
Let us win the division again. Please.
I like that one.
And of course, F.T. What the packet? And Skull. It's like saying score, but with a cock in your mouth. And 2 years in a row, the Kings of the North, division champion. Hasn't equaled a Super Bowl, so I don't give a fuck. Stop bragging. There. I said everything you guys want. Gibbs is out.
Good stuff, JB.
I think Gibbs was held out of practice today. I haven't seen anything about an injury. So I will keep my nose to the grindstone, and if I get any news about that, I will talk about it tomorrow. Thank you, Broski, for being here. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right there. Oh, shit. Hamstring. Doesn't mean it's terrible. We got to wait to hear what's confirmed. I don't like being the guy that freaks out right away. I just don't. I know for fantasy
Shout
fans,
out Megan.
I know for fantasy fans, specifically Megan Hacker, who drafted Gibbs in the first round, might be freaking. That being said, try every day to be a better person. Word day before, it's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. Thank you, Broski, for hopping in. And have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, yo, it's game time, ain't no messing around. Huddle Sports Network, the best in town. From NFL rumors to the latest trends, we got all your sports, just tune in, my friends. Catch us on Roku, Fire Stick, take your pick. Facebook, YouTube, where the action's slick. Daily shows that drop like a bomb. From 10 to 11, it's Ken and Ken, stay calm. Huddle up, catch the vibe, feel the rush. Get your news, get your fills in the clutch. Over 27 podcasts, we breaking it down. Join the team, Huddle Sports, wear the crown. Live every weekday, it's how we roll. Lions Talk with Jeremy B, we taking a stroll. From 11 to 12, don't miss a beat. We break down the game, make the info sweet. The Daily Huddle Podcast, noon to 1. CST Zone, we're just having fun. Toss your doubts, we bring the facts. Tune into the Huddle.